Hey yo, what's happening, people? This is going to be the second and last part of preparation-based material. And if by any chance you didn't watch the first part, where we discussed the essential tools for our $500 to $100,000 trading challenge, feel free to check it out, link in the description. So initially, I wanted to start the video off with discussing how to sort of rewire your mentality for trading if you still feel like you're making too many emotional decisions, However, I'm pretty sure you don't want me to give you a psychology lecture, and matter of fact, such mentality sort of content can be found all over the social media. In case you do want me to talk about it, let me know in the comments, and once we get to streaming, basically we can talk about it in live. Another thing, the approach I'm going to break down works for any size of port, is super easy in general, and at the same time super effective and tested multiple times. Without further ado, let's get it poppin'. Now, we're not going to overcomplicate shit and simply go with the things that have been proven to be working again and again. So this right here is my plan of action for the Q4 that I recently put together, and by the way, if you want it, you will find it on my Telegram channel. Since we're starting with a bare minimum, risk management plays a major role because we have to be super picky and super careful with what we choose to invest in. For that reason, before we even enter a trade, we already must have a certain exit plan in place. As an example, let's say we did our research and according to our risk management as well as to our strategy, we're willing to open a position on this specific coin. The incorrect way, you open a position here and now you start stressing yourself with shit that could have been taken care of beforehand. Wait, is this actually good? Or, if it doesn't go up, where exactly do I exit? Or even, okay, I got a nice entry. Where should I take profits if it goes up? Like, to put it in a different perspective, would you blindly give your money to a business partner and only then ask them what is the business about and what's the plan to scale it? For that reason, make sure you take care of that part before you open a position. So, for example, in this case, let's say we like this token, everything is fire. Now, okay, it's at this specific market cap, right? You probably want to wait for a better entry. Then from that entry, you definitely want to take out the initials at 100% from it. So let's say those 100% would be here, right? Nice. You mark the level and set a limit take profit order after you have opened the position. Now, okay, according to my plan, I'm taking profits at 200%. And if it goes higher than at 300%, I'm fully out on this one. Or on the other hand, if it goes down, I'm willing to lose this and that amount of percentage, but not lower than that. So basically, what do? You simply preset all of your levels up before you even enter a trade. Now, my second rule, always take out the initials if possible. I don't think there's a lot to break down here, but regardless of what sizes you play with, like truly question yourself. What's really better? Take out the initials and have a completely risk-free trade, or in other words, in the worst case be at break even, or risk your whole position for 50% more gains. And I know, 50% more gains does sound lovely. But this is where you fight your inner greed demon, fuck it off and play this shit smartly instead. As for the third rule, just like any other online or offline hustle, instead of looking at meme coin trading as a fun way to gamble and lose your shit, you should always treat it like a real full-time business. If you treat it like shit, it already says a lot about how you treat your money. And money doesn't stay long in hands of somebody who treats it like shit. For that reason, you want to have, let's say, at least 2 separate wallets. One would be a treasury wallet where you basically send, withdraw and hold all of your capital at, and preferably the treasury wallet isn't connected to anything, including the trading platform you use. And the second wallet, your trading wallet, where you always keep a specific amount of money for trading. Quick explanation how it works in real time. You hop on your favorite exchange or whatever, convert $10,000 to USDC, send those $10,000 of USDC to your treasury wallet, and let's say you have decided that every single trading session you're starting with exactly $1,000 in Solana. So you convert $1,000 of USDC to Solana and send those $1,000 of Solana to your trading wallet. Then after you finished your trading session, let's say you made some profit and now you have like $2,000 of Solana on your trading wallet, right? So what do? You send $1,000 of Solana to the treasury wallet. And when you're back tomorrow, you're starting with your $1,000 again. Well, that's basic risk management, honestly. As for what's the best option for a treasury wallet, well, I guess probably Ledger or Trezor. However, if you don't have one yet, just use a reliable exchange or, for example, Phantom Wallet for that. Number 4 on my list, basically just a reminder to myself that I should never leave a position open if I'm leaving my trading device. Even if I'm about to go and take a shit, alright? If you need to leave but don't want to exit your position yet, make sure that all the take profit levels as well as stop loss level have been set accordingly. And by the way, all of that can be obviously done here using the trading module. As for the last part, for this challenge we need to split our budget in 2 and also make sure we set up the right fees and presets for it. So if you watched the first video, you already know that we're going to trade on 2 chains, Sol and BSC. Meaning $250 go to our Sol wallet and other $250 to the BSC wallet. And by 250 I mean 250. Funding the Sol wallet is easy, I'm sure you already know how to do that. As for BSC, just use your favorite exchange to acquire some BNB. Or if you're going to use the money you need to launder, of course you can easily bridge it via platforms like changenow.io. Simply enter how much you want to bridge and via which coin, click exchange, enter the payout wallet, which is the wallet where you want to receive the bridged coins, and that's it. Now, as for the fees and presets based on our risk management, for the quick buys, which we're definitely not going to use often, still, for this challenge, I'm going with 0.2 for new pairs, 0.3 for almost bonded, and 0.4 for migrated. Of course, we'll also adjust them accordingly as the time goes on and our budget grows. As for the fees and presets, I'm going to use only a single preset for now, because our starting budget doesn't allow us to play around much. So for the P1 custom buy amounts that will reflect on our instant trading panel and also the trading module, I'll go from 0.2 all the way up to 0.9. For the custom slippage, 30% for both buys and sells. Leave the priority and fee as they are, and make sure you enable Mu protection for the buys. Now head over to sell settings, so 30% custom slippage as I said, and Mu protection off. Go back to the main screen, open the BSC chain by clicking this icon right here, and go straight to P1 settings. I've done some calculation, and these are the presets I'm going to run with. For the custom buy amount, I'll go with 0.02 all the way up to 0.16. Basically, starting with minimum of approximately $25 all the way up to like $150. Okay, for slippage limit, 30% for buys and sells, gas set to low because we ain't sniping shit, and as for the custom on max gas, just leave them blank. Make sure to enable Mu protection and also auto approval. Hop to sell settings, custom slippage to 30% as I already mentioned, gas to low, and once again both sections can be left empty for now. If Mu protection is enabled for the sells, disable it. Now, let's break down the approach for this challenge, aka the strategies. So, as per our plan of action, first thing we want to do once we open the platform is to determine what narrative or narratives are running today. As you can clearly tell, due to gold hitting all-time highs, there's still quite a lot of precious metals popping up, such as gold, silver, platinum, and all of that good shit. For additional confirmation, we can use our essential tools and see what's trending on Dex Screener, for example. And as you can see, we were quite right. Next thing you would want to do is check X feed. See what else is trending. After X, we can also check what the KOLs are yapping about on their Telegram channels. And well, this time we ain't got shit here, but that's totally fine, because we sort of already figured out the narrative. So, based on our plan of action, we're going to fully focus on two things: coins that fit the ongoing narrative and coins that might be random but have an insane lore. Now, let's say we found one, right? This is just an example. First thing we want to do before even opening the coin, obviously, instantly look at the socials and determine whether the lore behind is actually good and true. Because sometimes these shitty ass devs will spawn something and totally LARP up the lore when actually it ain't really the way they present it. So, if the socials are fine, the community is running, and the lore is good, okay, how do the metrics look? How heavily is it bundled? Or how many freshly funded wallets are holding the supply? If everything is fine, lastly, check who's talking about it on X. And then, let's hop in and get some more information. Right off the bat, we want to head to the holders tab, see whether anyone is holding more than 7%, which is the limit I've set for this challenge specifically. If that's fine, we can also quickly check what KOLs are or where in this coin, and I'll explain why in a moment. Alright, let's quickly check the bubble maps now, see whether the coin has been created previously, or if there are other coins with the same avatar. If by any chance there were coins with the same name launched previously, just search up the ticker and see whether it has already bonded before or recently. Okay, if everything looks decent here and there are no red flags, now we need to decide our strategy for this coin. So there are different variations how we can approach it. The main one that I'm going to use for this challenge, I actually want to make sure that the coin has either already sparked interest of other known traders or KOLs, or in the best case, see some familiar names already holding the supply. I know many would disagree, but the thing is, the more KOLs touch the coin, the more likely a chance for it to get shilled further to the masses and eventually go heavily parabolic. The so-called normie coins that have zero KOLs in them rarely make any great numbers market cap wise. Next question that should spark in your mind is, do I even enter this coin while the specific KOL is holding supply? For example, we know that Cupsy or Divi usually hop in with their main wallet along with multiple side wallets, and both of those traders are known to take their profits rather quickly. So if personally I see any of those two in a coin, and if the coin is that good that I want to get a position in it, I'll basically wait for them to get out, then wait a few seconds more, because by them hopping out it will trigger their copy traders to sell too, and only then I want to quickly get a position. Alright, fair. Let's say regardless of the KOLs, we really believe that this is a very good narrative, so we want to get a position. From here, we definitely never want to blast the top. We want to wait for somebody to clip out and create a dip, obviously. And by the way, sometimes that dip might never come. And then you have to be emotionally intelligent enough to tell yourself, well, fuck that coin then. At least I was right and had a vision. And simply move on. However, let's say we want to get a dip here, so we set a target level. If you get time for it, you can actually set a limit order for that level instead of trying to catch the dip manually, but it's basically up to you though. Next, we want to quickly decide, okay, so where do I fully take my profits or set a stop loss? Obviously, you want a risk-free trade, so you set a limit order that sells 50% of the supply at 100% increase in profit. Alright, now, regardless whether you prefer to take your profits manually or not, you still need to at least mark certain levels for profit taking. Otherwise, that's already considered gambling, and in the worst case, you will simply round trip your shit. In my case, I'll sell another 50% of supply at 200% profit and fully clip out at 300% profit by selling 100% of the remaining supply. Of course, if you're trading with larger sizes, you might want to consider leaving the so-called moon bag. But still, even if you leave one, you must set a full take profit level. Otherwise, what's the point of a moon bag, right? Anyways, since we're starting with only $500, initially I'll pass on the moon bag leaving and obviously take full profits. Now, once you've decided where we enter, where we sell initials and where we take profit, last thing to do is set up a stop loss. For the sakes of this challenge, my stop loss is going to be 35% to maximum 50% below my entry. So basically, in the worst case, I'll be losing only 35 to 50% of my total position. Before I break down a DCA scenario, when it comes to position sizing, as per our presets, my minimum allocation per position will be 0.2 SOL or 0.02 BNB. Now, let's imagine the same scenario. Everything has been decided, the levels have been set, and let's say we already have a position open, right? As the time goes, you start noticing a lot of known KOLs hopping in. And then the coin migrates, for example, and you know for a fact that this is a very creative and original coin that fits all of our requirements. Listen, my guy. If you see KOLs getting in one after another and everything with this token looks smooth, instead of just selling your supply, you might want to wait for some good dips and start DCAing. Don't get too greedy, maybe just acquire a bit more supply, but the lower you can get your average entry level, the better, and the more profit you can make, obviously. This scenario happens rarely, but it's worth to keep in mind. Last thing we might want to do, if we have successfully allocated a position, and now we're just sitting on our ass waiting for it to either go up or down, always make sure to keep an eye on what's going on in the trenches, because oftentimes, if the coin is really good, some fucker might vamp it and get his buddies to push it past the bonding curve faster than the original coin which you are in. Aside from that, also always keep tracking whether the community, website or post is still up Because imagine if you don't, the DAO might just delete it, or some FUD cabal fuds it up. So your goal is to simply have the information beforehand, so you can potentially quickly exit your position without a loss. Now, the same strategy applies to the migrated coins, if we ever decide to hop in one. Remember, we set up a minimum market cap filter for the migrated. Reason for that is because sometimes a certain coin might actually be very good, but unfortunately some quick scalper KOLs ruined it, and after migration it went down below 30k market cap, let's say. What sometimes happens is that after a coin dies, some other KOLs or just normal traders might pick it back up again. Or maybe the DEX gets finally paid, or the coin gets boosted. And if technically it fits our requirements and we see the coin pick back up about 30k market cap, for example, we might as well open a position, because you never know. But once again, this also doesn't happen often. Anyways, as you already understood, we're not going to target the noobers much. Instead, we're going mainly for the almost bonded and maybe for the migrated coins as well. And yes, some of you might say, damn bro, such a basic strategy. All I'm going to say, this is the best low power strategy out there. And regardless of the market conditions, this specific strategy and approach in general always works out when starting out. Alright, we got our tools in the last video, we got our plan of action together in this video, and now it's time to get to the business. Initially, all of my trades will be documented via YouTube and Telegram, and once we reach 2000 subscribers on YouTube, we are going to do this in a live mode by streaming. All the links in the description, subscribe, follow, you already know the drill. See you in a bit.